The Axiom repair station floated in space above Earth. It was huge, like a metal city in the sky. Chief Engineer Alan Murphy looked out the big window on the main deck. He watched as a strange ship came closer to dock. This ship belonged to aliens called Zenlarians. Its outer shell looked like crystal and sparkled in the sunlight. "Another ship for us to fix," said Diane Williams, who worked under Alan. She didn't look up from her screen. "That makes 17 alien ships waiting now. Only 3 human ships." Alan drank some coffee and nodded. 5 years ago, when we opened, the bosses thought we'd be lucky to fix 10 ships each month. They thought most would be our own ships. Now the Axiom fixed about 100 ships every week. More than 70 out of every 100 were alien ships. Human repair stations were becoming famous across the galaxy. "The Zenlarian captain wants us to fix their ship first," Diane said, reading a message. "They'll pay 3 times the normal price." "What's wrong with their ship?" asked Alan. "Problems with their warp core. It's like what happened to the Bortellian ship last week." Alan smiled. "Put them in Bay 12. Get Greg to work on it." He fixed the Bortellian ship in half the time we thought it would take. "The aliens will love him," Diane said as she typed commands into her computer. "They always do." As Alan started to walk away, a loud beep came from the communication system. A worried voice called out, "Chief Murphy, we've got an emergency call from the Tarvos sector. A Drelvan warship is in big trouble. Their life support systems are failing. The crew might die soon if we don't help." Alan stopped walking. This was serious. The Drelvans were a proud alien race that kept their military technology secret. They had never come to a human repair station before. "Tell them we're ready to help," he said, already thinking about what tools and people they would need. "Clear out Bay 1 for them." He turned to Diane with a spark in his eyes. This could be very interesting. The Drelvan warship was different from other ships they had fixed. It was sleek and dangerous looking, designed for battle, not trade or travel. As the alert went out through the station, repair crews grabbed their tools and ran to their stations. "What do we know about Drelvan ships?" Alan asked as he walked quickly toward Bay 1. "Not much," Diane answered, following him. "They don't share their designs, but ships are ships. They all need power, air, and engines. We'll figure it out." As they walked, more alien ships appeared on the station's radar. Word was spreading fast about the human repair station. Even dangerous, mysterious aliens like the Drelvans were coming now. "We're going to need more staff," Alan said, looking at the growing list of ships waiting for help. Diane smiled. "Who would have thought? Humans aren't the strongest aliens, or the smartest, or the ones with the best technology. But we can fix anything. And that makes us important." Alan nodded as they reached Bay 1. The damaged Drelvan ship was just minutes away. "Let's show them what humans can do." Lisa Carter wiped sweat from her face as she worked inside the alien ship's engine. She was trying to remove a broken part called a plasma converter. The part was small, about the size of a shoebox, but it was very heavy. It held enough energy to power a small city for a month. "How's it going in there?" called Kenny Morgan, her helper, from outside the narrow tunnel where Lisa was working. "Almost got it," Lisa answered as she disconnected the last wire. "This isn't the normal design for a Xintal ship. They've changed their equipment." The Xintal aliens were known for making great technology but not taking care of it well. Their engineers built amazing systems but didn't think about how to fix them later. Many alien races had this problem, especially those who learned to travel in space before they had good factories on their planets. Lisa crawled out of the tunnel with the heavy converter in her hands. She put it carefully on a testing pad. "Look at this," she said, pointing to some wires that didn't match. "They've connected a Tervellian power part to a Xintal converter. It's clever, but very dangerous." Kenny whistled. No wonder it was getting too hot. How did they even make these parts work together? "That's the interesting part," Lisa said, reaching for her tools. "They didn't think about how the parts would expand when they get hot. We can fix that. While the station's computers could handle simple repairs, it was human engineers like Lisa who solved the hard problems. That's why the repair station was becoming famous. Other aliens tended to be experts in one kind of system. Humans, on the other hand, were good at many things. They could understand how things should work, even if they had never seen the technology before. In just 3 hours, Lisa not only fixed the converter but made it work 22% better than before. The ex-Intel captain couldn't believe it when he saw the test results. This is better than when it was new. The translator changed the captain's clicking sounds into words humans could understand. How is this possible? Lisa shrugged. It just needed some proper support and a little adjustment. Your engineers had a good idea. They just didn't think about the heat problems. Later, as the Xintal ship left the station, Kenny found Lisa in the break room. I heard the Drelvins are coming in. A military ship. Lisa's eyes got big. The Drelvins? They never let outsiders see their ships. Looks like they don't have a choice this time. Their ship is badly damaged. Kenny smiled. And guess who's going to be the lead engineer for the repair? Who? Lisa asked, taking a drink of her coffee. You, Kenny said. Director Owens just sent the assignment. She says you're the best person for a job this important. Lisa almost choked on her coffee. Me? Work on a Drelvan warship? That's like being asked to look inside a secret government vault. That's why they picked you, Kenny said. You can figure out things no one else can. Lisa stood up, suddenly feeling excited. This was the chance of a lifetime. Drelvan technology was some of the most advanced in the galaxy. When do they arrive? She asked, already thinking about what tools she would need. 1 hour, Kenny replied. Better get ready. This could change everything, not just for you, but for how aliens see humans. Lisa nodded and hurried out of the break room. If she could fix a Drelvan warship, it would prove that humans belonged among the stars, not because they were powerful, but because they could understand and fix the things that even advanced aliens couldn't. The Drelvan warship floated slowly into Bay 1, pulled by the station's helper beams. The ship looked like a deadly predator, long and sharp. One side was badly damaged. Smoke came out from broken pipes, and the ship's lights kept blinking on and off. Station Director Patricia Owens came down to watch this important moment. The Drelvans were powerful aliens who didn't talk much with humans. This could be a big chance to make friends, or a big problem if anything went wrong. As the ship locked into place, a group of Drelvans walked out through the door. They moved like soldiers, even though they were clearly worried. Their skin had scales that shined with many colors under the station's lights. Their leader, who had special marks on his uniform, walked up to Patricia and Lisa. I am Commander Vorks of the Drelvan Empire. We need help right away. Patricia stepped forward. I'm Director Owens. This is Lead Engineer Carter. We have a team ready to start work now. The Drelvan's eyes narrowed. Our ship has secret military systems. Your engineers cannot see everything. Patricia nodded. Commander, we understand your concerns, but our teams need enough access to find and fix the critical problems. We can sign papers promising not to share anything we see, and your engineers can watch us work. Vorks looked like he wanted to say no, but another older Drelvan with battle scars on his face whispered something to him. After thinking for a moment, Vorks agreed. Fine, but only necessary people, and our guards will watch everything you do. Lisa stepped forward. Commander, can you tell me what happened? It will help us fix the problem faster. We were training when we hit something called a quantum filament. Our shields failed, and the energy went through all our main systems. Our life support is failing, weapons don't work, and our engine is becoming unstable. Lisa nodded, already thinking of a plan. I've fixed quantum filament damage before. Different setup, but the basic ideas should be the same. We'll start by fixing your engine and life support. As they walked toward the damaged ship, Patricia touched Lisa's arm. This is sensitive, Lisa. The Drelvins don't trust easily. I know, Lisa replied. But a ship is a ship, and the rules of physics are the same everywhere. We'll figure it out. What they didn't know was that 3 other alien ships had changed course to watch something that had never happened before. A Drelvin warship letting humans repair it. News was spreading fast through space. Inside the ship, Lisa and her team got to work. The Drelvin engineers watched every move they made. "Your life support system is clever," Lisa said as she looked at some strange pipes and wires. "But I see the problem. The quantum energy created a feedback loop here. We can bypass it temporarily and then rebuild this section." The Drelvin engineers looked surprised. One of them asked, "How do you understand our system so quickly? You have never seen them before." Lisa smiled as she worked. "Humans are good at seeing patterns. All ships need the same basic things: power, air, heat control. The ways to make those things work follow certain rules. We've had to fix so many different kinds of machines on Earth that we got good at figuring out new ones." As the hours passed, the Drelvins watched with growing respect as the human team found and fixed problems that would have taken their own engineers days or weeks to solve. "They're not doing it the way we would," one Drelvin whispered to another. "But it's working." By the end of the day, the ship's engine was stable and life support was working again. Commander Vorks approached Lisa as she finished testing the repairs. "Your skills are impressive," he said, which was high praise from a Drelvin. "Perhaps humans have more to offer the galaxy than we thought." Ryan Foster lay on his back under an alien control panel. He carefully followed wires that no human had ever seen before. The Drelvin engineers watched his every move. They didn't fully trust him, but they were also curious. "Your power system is very elegant," Ryan said, sliding out to grab another tool. "But this part that protects against power surges has a basic flaw when dealing with quantum energy." The senior Drelvin engineer, Tarvix, bent down to see what Ryan was pointing at. "That is impossible. That design has been used on Drelvin ships for 300 years. Ryan shrugged. "It works fine for normal use. But quantum filaments are different. See how the energy path loops back here? That created a feedback that overwhelmed your systems." Tarvix's face didn't show much emotion, but he didn't argue. After a moment, he asked, "Can it be fixed?" "Fixed and improved," Ryan said confidently. "We've developed some techniques for handling quantum energy after our own problems in the Taurus Rift. With your permission, I'd like to modify your system in a way that works with your technology." Meanwhile, in another part of the ship, Lisa was working with her team on the engine core. The Drelvins used a type of matter-antimatter engine similar to human designs, but with several unique features. The containment field that kept the dangerous energy inside was close to failing. "We need to reduce pressure in the second containment ring," she told her team. "Then we can adjust the field generators in order, starting from the outside and working inward." A Drelvin security officer stepped forward. "That procedure is not in our standard repair manual." "Your standard procedures assume you have working primary systems," Lisa explained patiently. "We're working with damaged equipment and need to adapt. This approach has worked on similar systems. After 4 hours of hard work, the containment field stabilized. After 12 hours, life support was fully restored. After 20 hours, all the essential systems on the Drelvin ship were working again." Commander Vorks approached the tired human team as they finished the final tests. His posture had changed. He stood less stiffly and looked less suspicious. "Your engineers have done in hours what our experts said would take weeks at a Drelvin repair base," he admitted. "The Empire values efficiency." Patricia Owens smiled. "We're glad we could help, Commander. We hope this might lead to better relations between our peoples." Vorks hesitated, then made a gesture that his translator explained was a sign of respect among Drelvin warriors. Perhaps that would be wise. As the humans were leaving the ship, Tarvix approached Lisa privately. "Engineer Carter, I must ask, how did your people develop such ability to work with different technologies?" Lisa thought about the question seriously. I think it's because we had to solve so many problems during our early development. We had thousands of different systems, standards, and approaches on Earth before we became united. When you grow up fixing things that were never meant to work together, you develop a special way of seeing problems. Tarvix nodded slowly. My people developed one perfect system and stayed with it. We never needed to improvise. Different paths to the stars, Lisa said with a smile. But now we can learn from each other. As the Drelvan ship prepared to leave the next day, Commander Vorks made an unusual request. He asked for a copy of the repair techniques the humans had used. For study purposes, he claimed. Director Owens knew what this really meant. The proud Drelvans were impressed, and in the galaxy, word was spreading fast about the strange humans who could fix anything. 6 weeks after fixing the Drelvan ship, Alan Murphy was called to an emergency meeting with the station's leaders. When he arrived, Director Owens was looking at a 3D map showing ships coming to the station. "This can't be right," one of the administrators said. "There are too many ships. We can't handle this many." Alan looked at the map. Hundreds of ships were heading toward the station. Far more than they could possibly fix. "What happened?" he asked. Patricia turned to him, looking both worried and amazed. "The Drelvans happened. They were so impressed by our repair work that they told their allies about us. Then those allies told others. News travels fast in space," added Scott Bennett, the station's diplomat, "especially when the proud Drelvans admit that someone else is better at something. But this many ships, we can't fix them all," Alan said. "That's why we called you," Patricia explained. "We need ideas." Alan studied the map more carefully. "We could set up a system. Emergency repairs first, then critical systems, then regular maintenance. We'll need to use more automated systems for simple work." "We're already working on that," Patricia said. "But there's something else." She pressed a button, and the display changed to show a message. "We've heard from the Galactic Concord. They want to make a formal agreement with Earth to build more repair stations throughout Concord space." Alan whistled. The Galactic Concord was a group of 17 spacefaring species that worked together on trade and defense. Until now, they had kept their distance from humans, treating them as newcomers to the galaxy. "This is a big diplomatic opportunity," Scott said. "The Concord rarely invites non-members to set up operations in their territory." "What do they want from us?" Alan asked, always thinking practically. "They want our engineers. Our approach. Something about humans is different when it comes to repairs," Patricia explained. "Other species have more advanced technology in many areas, but they're specialists. When systems from different worlds need to work together, or when unexpected problems happen, they struggle. And we don't." "Not the same way," Scott said. "From their view, humans have an almost natural understanding of how to make different technologies work together. It's become valuable enough that the Concord is willing to offer territory, technology exchanges, and protection agreements." As the meeting continued, more alien ships arrived at the station below. The action was becoming proof of an unexpected human strength in the galaxy, not destructive power or technological superiority, but practical problem-solving and adaptive thinking. In Repair Bay 14, Lisa was showing a young engineer how to fix an alien power coupling. The young man looked overwhelmed by the strange technology. "How am I supposed to understand this?" he asked. "I've never seen anything like it." Lisa smiled. "Look for the patterns. All power systems need to move energy from one place to another. The physics doesn't change, just the methods. Ask yourself, what is this part trying to do? Once you know that, you can figure out how it should work." The young engineer looked at the alien device again. Slowly, he began to see the logic in its design. It's moving power from this converter to the main system, but it's losing energy along the way. "Exactly," Lisa said. "Now you're thinking like a human engineer. And that's becoming our most valuable export to the galaxy." In the command center, Alan and Patricia were reviewing plans for training more repair engineers. We need to teach more people, Alan said. The galaxy needs us. Patricia nodded. Who would have thought? Our greatest contribution to galactic civilization isn't weapons or science or art. It's our ability to fix broken things. Sometimes the most important skill isn't creating something new, Alan replied. It's keeping what you have working. 8 months later, the first official human repair cooperative facility opened in the Xanadu system, a busy trade area where 3 galactic sectors met. Unlike the Axiom Station, which had slowly grown into its role, the Xanadu facility had been designed from the start to be an interspecies repair center. Diane Williams, now promoted to station director, stood beside the Galactic Concord representatives as they cut the ribbon to open the station. The massive structure, 3 times bigger than the original Axiom, shined in the light of Xanadu's twin suns. On behalf of humanity, we are honored to offer our repair services to all peaceful ships traveling through Concord space, she announced to the important visitors from a dozen different worlds. The Concord High Commissioner, a tall, thin being from the Illivan species, stepped forward. The Concord recognizes the unique contribution humanity brings to our galactic community. Where others build walls between technologies, humans build bridges. This facility represents a new era of cooperation. Later, at the celebration party, Diane was approached by a strange figure, a Skrull engineer, one of the oldest spacefaring species known. The insect-like being's translator hummed softly as it spoke to her. Your species puzzles many of us, it said directly. Your technology is not the most advanced. Your science is not the deepest, yet you accomplish what others cannot. Diane smiled politely. We're just practical problem solvers. It is more than that. The Skrull insisted. My species has watched many young intelligences develop. Usually, technological development follows predictable patterns, specialization, optimization, theoretical refinement. Humans followed a chaotic path. I'm not sure I understand, Diane admitted. Before mastering nuclear physics, you built mechanical computers. Before mastering fusion, you created global communication networks from primitive parts. Your species constantly improvised, adapted existing technologies, created unexpected combinations. Most species perfect one technology before moving to the next. Humans tinker. Diane thought about this. I suppose that's true. Earth had thousands of different standards, systems, and approaches. We had to learn to make incompatible things work together. Exactly. The Skrull's mouth parts clicked with what the translator called satisfaction. And now, in a galaxy of specialists who perfect their own technologies but struggle with others, you are the universal mechanics, the species that can make anything work with anything else. Across the station, teams of human engineers were already at work, teaching and learning at the same time. They studied alien technologies with excitement while showing the hands-on approach that had become humanity's unique contribution to galactic civilization. In Repair Bay 17, Lisa Carter, now the facility's chief of special projects, was supervising the repair of a Morrican science vessel that had been damaged while studying the neutron star. The Morricans, famous astronomers and theoretical physicists, had designed amazing sensors but ignored the practical challenges of using them in extreme conditions. If we change the cooling system like this, Lisa explained to the Morrican scientists, your sensors can work twice as long in the stellar corona. The basic design is good. It just needs some practical changes. The lead Morrican scientist watched in amazement as Lisa sketched a simple modification that would solve a problem their best minds had struggled with for years. It wasn't that the solution required exceptional intelligence. It required a different kind of intelligence, a practical wisdom born from generations of humans figuring out how to make things work with whatever they had available. As Lisa finished her explanation, the Morrican asked, how long would it take to implement this change? Lisa smiled. We can have you back studying that neutron star by tomorrow morning. 5 years after the opening of the Xanadu facility, human repair stations had become common throughout the galaxy. 12 large facilities and dozens of smaller outposts operated in every sector of known space, fixing ships from hundreds of different alien species. At the Axiom station where it all began, Alan Murphy, now close to retirement, stood at the same window where he had watched the first alien ships arrive years ago. Instead of the few vessels he had seen then, the space around Earth now constantly buzzed with traffic from across the galaxy. "Never thought I'd see the day," said Greg Pierce, joining him at the window. Once the station's best repair technician, Greg now led the Interspecies Engineering Academy that had been built in orbit alongside the repair station. "Humans have found their place in the galaxy," Ellen agreed, "not as conquerors or even as inventors, but as fixers." Down on Earth, new industries had grown to support this unexpected role. Universities offered degrees in alien technology integration. Factories made tools and parts designed specifically for cross-species compatibility. The global economy had changed as humanity embraced its identity as the galaxy's mechanics. "The new cooperative station in the Drelvan Empire opens next month," Greg mentioned. "The same Drelvans who barely trusted us to touch their ship 6 years ago are now hosting one of our largest facilities." Alan smiled. "Life has a way of surprising you." In a nearby repair bay, a young engineer named Olivia Russell was explaining to a group of alien students how to diagnose systems they had never seen before. "The key isn't knowing every technology," she told them, pointing to the confusing array of parts spread before them. "It's understanding basic principles. Energy is energy. Structure is structure. Start with what you know is universal, then work outward to the specifics." A Xintol student raised a limb. "But how can you fix something you've never seen before?" Olivia smiled. "The same way humans have always done it. Observe, make a guess, test carefully, and learn from mistakes. Every broken thing tells a story about how it's supposed to work, if you know how to listen." As she spoke, a massive Venturi construction ship glided past the station's windows. Despite its size and the advanced nature of Venturi technology, the vessel had traveled several light years out of its way to have human engineers check its matter conversion systems. No one found this strange anymore. It had become normal in the galaxy. Species might develop their own technologies, but humans would help keep them running. In the meeting room, Patricia Owens, now Earth's representative to the Galactic Concord, was finishing a meeting with diplomats from a newly contacted species from the galaxy's edge. "The repair services are just the beginning," she assured them. "Humanity seeks peaceful exchange with all intelligent life. We offer our skills not to control but to connect." Later that evening, as the day shift ended and the night shift began, the repair stations around Earth continued their work without pause. Ships came and went, problems were solved, and humans found purpose in the stars not through conquest or even discovery, but through the simple, important act of fixing what was broken. On a small observation deck, Lisa Carter, who had started it all with her work on the Drelvan ship, sat with her young daughter, watching the dance of vessels against the backdrop of stars. "Why do they all come here?" the child asked, pointing to the different ships waiting their turn at the repair docks. Lisa thought about the question carefully. "Because every species has its gifts," she finally answered. "Some are great scientists, some are great artists, some are great thinkers. It turns out that humans are great at figuring out how things work and fixing them when they don't." "Is that important?" "Very important," Lisa said, smiling as a beautiful Zenlarian vessel glided into dock, its crystal structure catching the light of Earth's sun. In a galaxy full of amazing technologies and different cultures, someone needs to keep it all working together. That someone turned out to be us. As night fell over Earth below them, the lights of the repair stations shone like new stars, humanity's workshops among the stars. Not the most powerful or advanced contribution to galactic civilization, perhaps, but one that had made humanity essential. The end.